Chapter 27. A change of plans. I wish I could change my plans, but I'm stuck here reading this. Vanille sat to Gohan in disbelief. His perspective on his upbringing and his father was drastically anything that she had previously heard from anyone. Krillin was correct in assuming that she had experienced some lasting trauma from the Cell Games. Well, it was deeper than either of them could imagine. And as Gohan himself mentioned, this was the only event where his father's actions had a lasting negative effect. In the midst of trying to digest all this new information, one question stood out. Why? She asked sympathetically. Why have you never told anyone of this? Why did you never talk about what you felt? Gohan sighed. It was a question he had asked himself many times. I never told anyone because I didn't want to share the image they had of him. To everyone else, he's a hero, a savior. You know, you can still talk about his bad things and still treat him as a hero and a savior, right? You do know this. They rely on that sense of hope he seems to carry around him. That, and they're usually lazy. I mean, really lazy. Oh, come on, guys. I can't be the only one who thinks this about the Z virus. Every time a new major threat comes along, they're like, Goku will handle it. It's practically what My Hero Academia was constructing. They all thought, All Might can handle it, and when they found out he couldn't, they were stuck trying to pick up the pieces. Same thing here. Goku could handle it. So no one ever challenged his actions? They did. No one ever stood up and said this is probably a bad idea? They did! Multiple times. Several. Pay attention, Vic! She was searching for answers. Surely her husband wasn't the only one who felt this way about certain decisions Goku had made. Look, I don't know if you notice, but the only time these guys get together as a group to do anything is when a big bad is here or there's a tournament. They are not friends, they are not even allies, they are just associates. Maybe they might get together for a party, but after that, no, they don't do that. Because they are idiots. And what's more, I have a feeling they all agreed because they all wanted to train and fight the big bad. No, Gohan muttered. I mean, sometimes his actions were questioned. Like when Bulma suggested they ask Shenron where Dr. Gero was so they could stop him before they even made the androids. Yeah, and who disagreed? Who was it? It wasn't Goku. It was Vegeta! Goku only agreed after Vegeta threatened to kill everybody. But in the end, it was always the same. He got his way, which had a tremendous impact on everyone. Whenever he was around, his decision ruled. Alternatives were rarely, if ever, sought. But if his decisions had such an impact, surely the others must have had some of the same feelings as you. So he was trying to make sense of everything. Gohan slowly shook his head. Like I said, no one ever really questioned him and followed through with it. Goku, are you sure we should let Vegeta live? They all trusted him, but then again, they didn't experience the fallout like I did from his actions. Oh my god. Gohan is such a whiner right now. This is something you'd never do, ever. Because it just isolates yourself. There are other people out there who can and do feel the same as you. You just need to learn to connect. This is why I love Loser Baby from Hell of a Boss. I love that song and its message. Because it's basically saying, yeah, you're suffering, but other people are too. You are not alone. Don't try to isolate yourself and think that nobody can understand my pain. That's exactly what Naruto had to try to bring out to Sasuke. But no. We got Gohan here who thinks he's better than everybody else. Yeah, I said it. And Gohan can deny it all he wants, but this is a, you can't understand my emotions, you can't understand my pain type of bullshit. He was my father. I relied on him to be there, to take care of me. Instead, he was gone half the time. And he was here, as more often than not, training for the next battle. Battles that can't be prevented. Yeah, like during And when, actually, the only time that's ever happened is with the Cell games. And the whole Cell arc. That was it. No other time. A lot of the other times he was training, but also spending time with you, dumbass! I was too young to question him, so I just followed him, waiting, always listening for the life I never knew he was going to have. Choking through his words. Oh, in case any of you wondering why I'm not choking through the words, because I'm not a sissy! Gripped on to his wife for comfort. This was the raw emotion he'd been holding back for so long. Now he needed something desperate to hold on to anchor him. Fidel consoled him, so he realized that this interactive was something her husband never got before. Living the life he did, never had a chance to be completely open with someone and share his deep feelings with. She was seeing the real Gohan, a wimp and a sissy. Her own tears made their way down her cheeks as she sympathized with her husband's pain. They continued to hold each other as they laid on bed. Nothing more was said between them that night, as they both eventually succumbed to sleep in each other's arms. The next morning, the sun rose and shined through the bedroom window, casting a light into Gohan's face. He squinted his eyes in response, before lazily opening them. He sat up in bed and looked down at his still sleeping wife. Without a sound, he got up and made his way to the master bedroom. There he bent down to face it. It's supposed to be Fawcett, but this spell checker messed up. He splashed his face with cold water and helped him wake up. After a few more splashes, he used a nearby hand towel to wipe away the moisture. When he was done, his reflection greeted him in the mirror. He studied his face. He looked at the man in the mirror. The man looking back at him was not the same person as yesterday. By finally sharing the secrets of his past with someone else, he grew to appreciate the comfort that could be felt by another person. He felt the weight he was holding for so long now lifted. As he contemplated his new sense of self, a figure moved behind him in the mirror. Turning around, he saw Videl a few feet away, at the entrance to the bathroom. For a minute, nothing was said as the two stared at one another. Seeing his wife's baggy eyes and overall disheveled state, he began to rethink about his opening up. Sensing what was going through his head, Videl took a few steps toward him and embraced him in a hug as he laid her hand on his chest. I'm glad you told me everything you know. Gohan returned the hug as he rested his chin on top of her head. Closing his eyes, he let out a mutter, I know. It was noon before Mr. Satin and the idiot had gotten up and were ready to head back to their home in Satin City. During this time, the former world champion recognized the difference in his daughter. She seemed even more distracted than he had been the previous day. While the useless one, Gohan and Pan, were occupied loading up the car with his and the lace of space things, he pulled his daughter aside. Is everything okay? Huh? Oh yeah, Dad. Everything's fine. She replied apprehensively. She wasn't fooling anyone. Fidel. Having dealt with her father all her life, Fidel knew this tone of well. It was his I'm not buying any crap voice. It would be frivolous to dismiss him, so she gave in. It's just, Gohan and I talked about last night, about a lot of things. His father's gaze told her she would be expecting more information than that. Slightly irritated, she continued. He wanted to know what made me come to East City. Her tone was a bit abrasive, but Mr. Satin stood his ground. And then I watched Full Metal Panic and I saw what Sosuke Sagara went through, and I told Gohan to grow a pair. If the 16-year-old boy can actually sit through the stuff that Sasuke sat through, he's got no room to talk. And? Fidel sighed heavily. I'll see you with Goku. What? I met with him to try to reconnect him and Gohan. Last night I told Gohan everything that happened, but... She trailed off, not wanting to think about the details of her husband's past. But he also told me some things. Things I never knew about him or his family. She turned towards the doorway, hands clapped around her elbows, to face the outside where Gohan and Pan were helping the idiot. He's been hurting for a long time, in fact. I had no idea until last night just what his past had been like for him. What his relationship with his father had been like. I'm still processing it all. Mr. Satin didn't feel like pushing anymore. Instead, he wrapped an arm around her and joined her watching the trio as he packed the hover car. You know what to say here, for both of you, he commented. Fidel continued to watch her family. I know. At the Sun household, Goku had postponed his training with Oob as he continued to wait for news of Fidel. Ever since he heard of the accident, he'd been feeling guilty. He felt guilty for meeting with her. You couldn't have known. That's putting her in a place where the accident would occur. How often does it even happen? Instantly, he was feeling guilty for not recognizing she was in danger. Well, his senses told him that something was wrong. He wanted to visit her in the hospital, but Chi-Chi advised against it. If Fidel already told Gohan why she was in East City, then he would be the last person his son would want to see. It's best to lay low until she was out of the hospital. This he could contact him on her terms. Around noon time, the Saiyan was sitting at the dining table, eating lunch alone. Chi-Chi had left her late in the morning and informed him she wouldn't be returning until the evening. Goten, meanwhile, was still in school. While Goku ate, his thoughts began to wander off. He was thinking about everything that he and Fidel talked about that afternoon, before her accident. The troubles Gohan seemed to be going through. The young man's past, everything. He was rethinking about that conversation. His son hated him right now. That was no secret. But he wanted him to make amends, to forgive and forget. Hopefully Gohan could do that. As his thoughts began to wander even more, his focus shifted from his relationship with his son to training Oob. Goku was also feeling guilty at taking such a long leave from the young warrior's training. He felt an obligation to mentor the young man who he thought of his successor. It was hard but sensitive for her to be right now, not wanting to leave his home, but at the same time wanting to return to Oob's village. He was so lost in thought he didn't even realize the phone was ringing until the third ring. Breaking from his lunch, he picked up the phone. Hello? There was silence on the other end. Hello? Goku? Fidel, is that you? Yes, Goku, it's me. Are you okay? Still in the hospital? I'm fine. I was discharged yesterday. Fidel, I'm sorry I wasn't there. When your accident happened, I was the closest one by, but I was in a deep meditative pose. No sense of the world around me. I should have... Fidel cut him off. Don't worry about it. I came out okay. Besides, we can't change what's in the past. Her tone had changed drastically during that last sentence, but Goku missed any reference he was hinting at. Instead, he continued with the explanation as to why he did visit her during the hospital stay. When I heard about your accident, I wanted to come see you, but Chi-Chi advised against it. She said Gohan was by your side constantly, as he knew I would probably be the last person you want to see, especially if you already told him why you were in East City. We never discussed it in the hospital, Fidel responded, a way relieved him, as he hoped their plan would still be on. However, last night when we got back, he did ask me why I was in East City, and why I lied to him about having to work. I couldn't lie to him anymore, so I told him. I told him about our meeting, about our conversation. I told him about the plan we made to get you two to work things out. How did he take it? He understood where I was coming from. He knew what I did because I cared about him. Because he hadn't been completely open with me. This is why I had to go to Bulma and Krillin before I met you. So what happens now? Will you be willing to talk this out? I don't think so. What? Don't you think you could try to convince him to sit down and listen to me the way you did? No, Goku. Listen, we talked about a lot of things last night. I realize... Goku, I can't do this anymore. I no longer feel I can help. I think it's best if we don't speak for a while. She was fighting back tears. It was incredibly hard for her to be telling her this to someone she once looked up to. But then again, a veil had been lifted. Fidel, you don't... I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. You can't do this anymore. But Goodbye, Goku. Without warning to hear anything more, Fidel immediately hung up the phone, leaving a confused father-in-law on the other end. What just happened? Goku asked himself. I don't know, Goku, you tell me!